It's time for the Margin Matters Minute with Money Man Jason Brown.
Hi, welcome back to another edition of the Margin Matters Minute. Today we're talking about how my wife was able to pay off $60,000 in student loan debt in approximately 2 years. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jason Brown, and I am the author of a book called Margin Matters, How to Live on a Simple Budget and Crush Debt Forever. And actually, the story that I'm about to share is a chapter in my book. So there's a chapter dedicated to this entire story of how my wife was able to pay off 60 grand of student loan debt in just 2 years. Now, I will, before we get started, I want to share that I begged my wife repeatedly to share her own story. I told her I would do the video with her where we could do like an interview format, and we could sit down and I would interview her and she could share her own story, which I thought would be a little bit more personable. She's a little camera shy and didn't want to do that. However, she did lend her voice to the open of this video. That's her voice in the voiceover there. So that's about as much as I'm going to be able to get out of her, I guess. But anyway, so I wanted to share the story because I lived it with her, right? So we were married at the time. So I'll rewind a little bit back to when we started dating. We were dating for a little while, and then we started getting serious. And then once we started talking about getting engaged, that's when we, of course, brought up the subject of finances. That's when it was revealed that she had some student loan debt and she had some other consumer debt as well. Now, of course, being young and in love, you don't really, that's fine. You got a little bit of debt, no big deal. We'll get through it, no problem. But I didn't really do my due diligence and ask, oh, how much debt do you have? That would have been a good question. So I didn't really know the numbers or the specifics. I just knew that she had some debt, and she actually was getting ready to graduate college at the time. She was pursuing a teaching degree, and she was doing student teaching at the time as well. So I know that she had put herself through college using student loans. So it wasn't until we got married that I received the sticker shock of discovering that she had $60,000 of student loan debt, as well as several other forms of credit, which included she had a car loan, she had several other like store credit cards, like a Target card, maybe like a Kohl's card, some of those like department store like credit cards. So she had a lot of those types of consumer credit cards with some balances as well. So all told, it was somewhere hovering around 60 grand was the total debt that I think she had. Actually, I don't think that it was actually more than that, because I don't think that counted whatever she owed on her car. I just know that she had about 60,000 student loan debt, and then there was some more debt on top of that. So she was 28 years old at the time, and she announced a very aggressive goal of getting out of all of her debt completely by the age of 30. Okay, so I thought that was very aggressive. We weren't making that much money at the time. Both of us were each making about $30,000 a year. Now, this was during the time of the Great Recession, right? So we were coming out of the Great Recession. This was like 2010, 2011. The economy was still horrible. I was underemployed. I was making $30,000 a year with no benefits, and she had just started working a nanny job because, as she says, she could make more money as a nanny than she could as a teacher, which is kind of an unsettling thing, even though she had a teaching degree. So she got on with the nanny family, and she was working full-time as a nanny, making about $30,000 a year as well. So we had a combined $60,000 income, facing $60,000 of debt that we wanted to dig out of. So her goal was to get out of it in 2 years. So the first thing we did was we did a lot of things. So I'm going to try to walk you guys through all the steps that we did to achieve this very aggressive goal of crushing this debt. So the first thing we did was we just stopped using all of our credit cards that we had. I mean, we shredded a lot of them. I think we maybe kept one or two, but I mean, we got rid of all those department store credit cards. We shredded them because in our view, there's no way we're going to be able to pay those off if we keep using them, right? You're going to keep building that debt back up. You're not going to be able to pay down that balance. So we stopped cold turkey on a lot of them. We put a lot of them in the shredder, got rid of them, and then just started knocking down those like department store credit cards. Most of them carried around a $500 credit balance. So most of them were pretty small amounts, but there were a lot of them. So we just started knocking out those first, right? To build some momentum. I think some people refer that as to the snowball effect. But anyway, so that was one of our first things. The other thing, of course, we did was, I was like, we have to have a budget. We have to come up with a budget and just put our numbers down. We got to know where the money's coming in, how much is going out, what are our expenses, how are we going to do this? So my wife is very old school. I actually use, I think at the time I had, Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. And there might've been some apps that I used, or actually not apps because it was 2010. I don't think I had apps, but I had some software. There were some software programs like, kind of like, Mint today, something like that. Just a little like a tracker where you can track your spending and expenses. Now my wife, she's very old school. So she actually got like a notepad, so it's pen and paper. She's writing everything down by hand, tracking everything that way. So that was how she did. She just kept track of things by hand. So whatever works for you, do it. So there's no one right or wrong way to do your money. So again, so we started budgeting, we got rid of the credit cards. But the other issue was we weren't really making that much money, right? So you can cut expenses as much as you can, but you can only cut it to a certain point, right? So of course, we didn't go on vacations, we didn't go out to eat that much. There was a lot of expenses that we cut out. We didn't make extravagant, we didn't go out and buy a new car or house. Oh, that was another thing I want to tell you guys real quick. So when we got married, the first two questions that everybody asked us, and maybe they asked you too if you got married, put it in the comments and let me know if this happened to you. But the two questions that everybody just bombarded us with was, oh, well, now that you're married, when are you going to buy a house? And when are you guys going to have kids? Yeah, house and kids. You guys got to go out and buy a house and kids. Well, those two things are very expensive things to do. So we announced to the world, we said, we're not doing anything until we get out of debt. So we recognized that we were fortunate enough to have that window of opportunity to do that. Not everybody would have had an opportunity. Some people would have already maybe had kids. Some people would have already had a big mortgage payment. Now we did have a condo that I bought. So we had a mortgage payment. We had a small condo, 2-bedroom, we didn't go out and buy a, $500,000 house or anything like that. So those two questions really irritated me to no end. And I just got tired of telling everybody, hey, we're getting out of debt first. We're getting our finances in order. Like that's our goal. Like we're not having kids. We're not buying houses. We're not buying cars. So we really had to kind of, push back on society, right? On all these expectations that society and culture put on us. And I'm really proud of ourselves for doing that, by the way. So that was one big thing that we said no to, that I know that a lot of people get into trouble doing is where they go out and take in all these expenses that they might not be ready for yet. So anyway, so that was one big reason why we were able to do this, achieve this goal. So like I said, you cut the expenses down to a certain point where you can't cut, we cut cable out, we cut, grocery bill down, and we cut it down to the bare bones. And then that's it. Like, okay, I'm not going to get a raise, I'm not going to get a promotion. She's making a set salary or an hourly wage. So what do we do, right? So the next thing we do is, how do we make more money? What can we do to earn a higher income? How can we bring in more cash flow into our into our budget. So here, this is where it gets entertaining. So here are all the things that we did over about a 2 to 3 year period to help crush this debt. And I actually have a list here so I don't forget them all. So if you'll excuse me, I might be looking over here. So one of the first things is my wife started taking on a lot of babysitting jobs, which kind of, went hand in hand with the nannying job she had. So a lot of these other parents in the neighborhood, they might need her for a night or a weekend to babysit or even house sit. We had a lot of those opportunities, house sitting and babysitting, and a lot of them I was actually able to help her with. If it was like in an evening or a weekend, I would go over and help with kids and stuff. So it was kind of a shared thing, but she did a lot of it on her own too. So that was one opportunity that we did that brought in some extra cash, was the babysitting. So that was a good thing. Now, another thing we did was we did a lot of garage sales, which, anybody can do that. Just go through your house, find junk that you don't want anymore or need, and just have a yard sale, have a garage sale. Just throw, on a weekend, put a bunch of tables out in your driveway, whatever. So we did a couple of those, and we might have made a couple of $100 or $200 or $300, something like that. And you're just getting rid of stuff. It's very liberating. A lot of people, there's a big movement for minimalism. So you're just getting rid of stuff and you're selling stuff and you're making a little bit of money. So we did that. Another thing we did was, this was more so me maybe, was I picked up a lot of manual labor side jobs. So that included like landscaping work. I did like some car detailing jobs where I car detail people's cars, make some money there. I remember I did a lot of opportunities where I helped people move, right? So people would just say, hey, Jason, come on over. I've got a friend that needs help moving. It might be like a single mom or something that would need some help. Someone that might be in a situation, maybe an elderly person that needs some extra hands. And they'll say, hey, Jason, come, we'll pay $25 an hour. And we just need you for a day to unload the truck or unbox the stuff in the house. So I actually had a lot of those opportunities where I was just able to make some money doing manual labor jobs. Now, manual labor is, it's tough work, but we were taking on as much money as we could get at the time. Now, of course, we would always get birthday and Christmas money. Any birthday and Christmas money that was sent to us, all that went toward the debt. And then and then this one I'm going to share, because this one is actually kind of, when you look back on it, it's actually kind of funny. But we were doing anything that we could think of to make extra money. And one of the things we did was we started recycling cans and metals. And there's some recycling centers near us here in the Atlanta area where we live. So we started recycling cans and aluminum cans and stuff. And come to find out, you don't really get that much money for that stuff. But this one time I remember, it was a very funny story. We were at the beach in Florida, and at the end of each day on the beach, we would walk around. Each of us had a big trash bag, and we would walk around the beach and just collect, because the beaches would get trashed, right? So we would walk around the beaches and just pick up every aluminum can and just put them in a trash bag and throw them in our trunk and take them to the recycling center. Now, I will admit, we probably made about $120 total out of all the work. I don't even want to know how many hours of work we did, but it probably wasn't worth the time. But that just shows you how aggressive we were and how much we hated the debt that we wanted to get rid of. So that was one of the things that we did to make the extra money. Now, another thing we did was, the next two are a lot more successful and profitable. Was we sold a lot of stuff online. I mentioned having the garage sales, the yard sales. We did that, of course, in person, but we sold a lot of stuff online using websites like eBay, Craigslist. Those are probably the two main ones that were real popular at the time. I've been pretty successful on both Craigslist and eBay, but eBay I was selling making about $2,000 a year on average, just selling junk on eBay, just stuff that I didn't want, or stuff that people would give me, or stuff that, I maybe got that didn't want, go through the closet, find stuff that might have no value to me, but value to somebody else. There's so many collectors out there that will buy anything. So we had a lot of success selling stuff online. And then the other thing that we did to make extra money, and this one was really good too, was all these marketing research studies. Atlanta has a lot of them, and you can look for these in whatever city you live in. These companies are everywhere, right? Atlanta has dozens of these companies. They do these marketing research, like studies. Another thing that's real big is the taste test, right? So they'll pick you to come do a taste test, and you'll basically get free food, and you'll get paid, right? So a lot of times it'll be like a restaurant, like say, Arby's is trying to come out with a new menu item, and you test these new menu items for Arby's, and not only do you get a free meal because you're eating their food for free, they're going to pay you for it too. So some of these are they don't pay that much. Some of them might only pay $50, but it's for like a half an hour. Now some of them are much more lucrative. So I've actually got picked to be on like a mock jury for a big trial that might be coming up. Now those are a little bit more of a bigger time commitment. So some of those I've done were like a 2-day, like you go into an office or like a conference room for 2 days, and they're going to pay you. One of them they paid me $350, right? So, and I think it was like 10 hours total time. So it was like $35 an hour. So not bad. But I did one, about 6 months ago where I just went in, and it was just like a half day. I don't want to say they paid me a couple $100. So, and it's very fascinating and interesting to do as well. So, but for those marketing studies, that's easy money, right? So usually you go in, most of them are like an hour, maybe 2 hours. And what's cool now with, because of the pandemic, a lot of these are done online, right? So you can do a lot of these through digital or video, and then they'll send you like a Visa gift card in the mail, or they will email you a $100 Amazon gift card for your time. So those are a lot of ways to make extra money, is through these marketing research studies. There's so much of them out there that you might not even realize. So just go to your search engine and type in whatever city you're in. Like, I'm in Atlanta, so I'd say Atlanta marketing research companies. And I found a list of probably over 20 of them. And you can just go on those websites and enter your name in their database and put your demographics in there, and then they will start calling you, and they will start emailing you, and they will ask you when you can come in. So it's that one was very profitable for us. Actually, for those marketing research studies alone, we earned about $8,000 in 3 years, but between the both of us doing them. So we brought in about $8,000 extra over about a 3-year period that we put toward that debt. So those are some of the things that we did to earn extra money to crush that debt. So in the end, which I didn't think that we were going to be able to make this goal, but we actually were able to make this goal of 2 years. We eliminated $60,000 of student loan debt that was from my wife. We worked extremely hard. We made a lot of sacrifices. We put a lot of things on hold, like having kids, buying a house, whatever, buying a new car. All that stuff was put on hold. So you have to weigh in on all those decisions to make. Now, and then, so now I'm going to put the picture up of my wife. Here's my picture of her when she made her very final student loan payment. Of course, she did it online. And there she is celebrating her very last student loan payment, where she became debt-free. Was a really exciting moment for us there. And I was very, very proud of her. So that's, I just wanted to share that story with you guys. I know the student loan debt issue and the student loan debt crisis issue is a big, big hot button topic in our society today. And I just want to encourage you that you can do it. You can get out of debt. You can do it. Like we did it. I know a lot of other people who have done it. It just takes, you have to change your mindset, decide what's the most important thing to you, create a budget, figure out how to make extra money, right? Because we can't control if we're going to get a raise at our job. And if you do, you're probably going to get, 1 to 3%. So that's kind of out of our control. But what we can control is, hey, let me, get some extra money. Let me go, deliver food or whatever. there's so much opportunity to make extra money out there. Do it. So I just want to encourage you to pay off your debt. You can do it. We did it. It was tough, but we're very, very glad that we did it, because it changed the trajectory of our life, especially with our finances. Now we're completely debt-free except for our house. We just have a mortgage debt. That's all we have. Our cars are paid for. We have no credit cards, no consumer debt, no student debt, nothing. So this really is a reflection of what we did 10 years ago that kind of put us on a course of a better, I guess, financial lifestyle. So these are things that we're going to teach our kids moving forward in the future on things that try to avoid debt. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your support. If you'd like what I'm doing and you want to support me, just consider subscribing to my channel or liking this video. And be sure to check out my book if you'd like. Margin Matters is on Amazon. And if you want to follow me on my website is yourmarginmatters.com. And once again, this is Jason Brown saying, don't forget, it's not the amount of money you make, but the margin that matters the most. See you next time.